Hey, what's going on, guys? Sean here, living the corporate pilot life. I got a Tech Tuesday video for you guys here, something that perhaps you haven't seen before. One of the windscreens on our Hawker here has delaminated, so it's got to get replaced. We're in the process of getting it pulled out right now. All this rubber has to be removed all the way around, and then the whole thing comes out, new one goes in, new screws go on. What the delamination process is, it's several layers of acrylic. These things are not glass, these are acrylic, and they're really thick. You'll see here in a little while, they're like an inch or inch and a half thick. And over time, those layers start to delaminate because of the heating and the cooling and such, and perhaps it takes an impact from a bird, you never know, but it starts to delaminate, normal process, and when that happens, they get changed out. These things are quite expensive, several thousands of dollars for one of these windscreens, so we don't like when it happens, but it's part of the process. So we're getting this thing pulled out here, give us a few minutes, and we'll show you how the process goes. So you can see we've got the metal surround already partially pulled up. The screws are already out. All that rubber's got to get pulled loose, and as it comes up, this whole protective metal frame will come out, and once it comes out, the windscreen will pop right out. You can actually see right here, these are the heating elements that heat the windscreen. You can see all the element wires running around. And here's actually where it delaminated. Way down here in the bottom corner, you can see where it's starting to haze. That's where the delamination has started. And it would eventually progress throughout the entire windscreen if you let it go. So that's why we changed this thing out. All right, so as you can see, we now have the aluminum surround removed. It's fully off. There was just one big old chunk came off. I'll show it to you guys here in just a second. And you can start to see how thick this windscreen is. If you look here, it is just, I mean, it's over an inch thick right there on the acrylic, and it's even thicker out here. That is one massive piece of acrylic. All right, there's the surround. It came out nicely. If you notice, we're about, I'm going to call it 3/16 of an inch thick on the aluminum. Very specifically formed for the shape of the window. We got holes about every inch and a half, roughly, is my guess. Goes all the way around. And as I recall from my aviation safety courses back in college, there was actually an accident because one of these got replaced. I forget what the aircraft type was. One of these windows got replaced with bolts that were a little too short. There are the bolts. And the window actually blew out as a result and sucked one of the pilots out the window. I think he ended up surviving, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was a pretty nasty accident. So our guys keep all the bolts right there. They're actually soaking in a MEK, or a methyl ethyl ketone, if I'm getting that correct. And they're going to get all the rubber sealant off of there, and we'll reuse those bolts again. All right, so the old windscreen is out. As you can see, I can put my hand all the way inside the cockpit here. Not what you want in an airplane, but not a whole lot different. It's still clear, so let's have a look at it. I'll show you the old one. I'll show you the new one. It's in a crate still, and it'll be in here in a little bit. Here's the connection points for the windscreen heater. Nice bare frame, all taped off to protect the paint and other window for that matter. All right, let's go have a look at the new one. All right, there's the new one. Nice and shiny. Still got paper on it. All right, let's go look at the old one. It's already got the sticker on it. Like I said, it is really thick. I know it's hard to see, but there's the delamination spot right here. Can kind of tell where it started to come apart. It would have eventually worked its way all the way up and would have been completely impossible to see through. So we got the final product here behind me. They've got the windscreen installed. The sealant is drying right now. As you can see over here, they've got everything taped off. They've got it marked. Do not finger the sealant. That means don't touch. All right, guys, keep it together. Notice they're using blue tape to cover up all the critical points, make sure the sealant doesn't get anywhere that it's not supposed to, and it's going to look great. It's got to seal for a day or so here. It's got to dry, and then we'll get this thing back in the air here as soon as possible. So it looks great. Let me show you a close-up of it here real quick. So that's it. Airplane's all done, back together, and we go back to flying. So hopefully you learned a little something about how these airplanes get put together, how they get worked on, and the procedures that we go through. Something a little different for you guys. Hopefully you liked it. Give me the thumbs up if you did, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you on the next Tech Tuesday. See ya.